Hello everybody. We are thrilled to welcome young people, their parents and carers and their teachers to What Next Sussex 2023. My name is Miranda.
And my name is Mark, and we are both careers advisors based in Sussex, and we are your hosts for this event.
Yes, so the idea behind What Next Sussex is that every young person in Sussex, as well as their parents and carers and their teachers, are going to have access to all of the information that you need to make good choices for your future. So we do this in a few different ways. We have this video that you're watching right now, which is aimed at parents and carers. Plus we have more video content on the website as well, and you can watch that at any time. And then we have a directory which allows you to search for post-16 options and any opportunities across Sussex. And if you're watching this on October 17th, 2023, you can also chat with colleges, apprenticeship providers and employers. You can chat with them live on the website between 1:30 and 3 and between 6 and 7:30. So it's really great if you can make the most of that if you're here on the day.
Yeah, and the video that you're watching now is a key part of What Next Sussex because it has all the information that you need to think about when it comes to deciding what to do after GCSEs. So hopefully you're feeling excited and ready for the future. Now, this video is aimed at parents and carers, so it will be slightly different in content compared to this afternoon's session. And we also wanted to point out that if you are looking at written material on the Get Career Confident website, that you can use Google Translate if you would like the text in another language.
Yes, so this video is split into 4 parts, and we're going to cover exploring ideas, pathways, the world of work, and then how to make your next steps happen. And as parents and carers, our experiences of education and working are going to be probably very different to what our children will have to cope with. And this video will hopefully provide you with the information and also some tools that are going to make the next steps in your children's lives as successful as possible and just make it easier for you to be able to support them. And we're going to kick it off with the careers Jenga. And I'm going to see if I can get the first question out without toppling the tower. We'll give it a go.
Yeah, don't topple it for the first one.
Yeah, that would be a bit rubbish, wouldn't it? Okie dokie.
Okay, well done.
Thank you very much. So this is for parents and carers to think about as well. What was the first thing you remember wanting to become when you grew up? What do you think?
Well, for me, I remember wanting to drive an ambulance because I remember going for a little tour around a hospital and seeing the ambulances, and I thought, yeah, I want to drive one of those. I didn't want to be a paramedic.
Nope.
I just wanted to drive the ambulance.
Just want to drive a big van.
Yeah, exactly. So
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was my one. What was yours?
And well, I was really into kind of the arts and being creative. So I wanted to draw, I wanted to make things, I wanted to write, and I spent a lot of time in theatres. And so I'd like the idea of kind of maybe being in charge and directing things.
Nice.
Obviously, neither of us have ended up quite in our early aspirations, but again, as parents and carers, you probably have ideas that you had as a kid that have changed dramatically as you've got older. So that's one of the things I think you sometimes forget, that you might have had conversations with your teenagers where they've said one thing and then changed their mind the next week, but that's totally normal. So yeah, we're going to, I think, watch a video now, aren't we?
We are, yes. So in this video, we're going to hear from the wonderful Michelle Obama, who's going to pose a slightly different question to the normal one that you ask about what you want to do when you're older. So this will hopefully get you to think about career aspirations in a slightly different way.
Who are you going to be? And if you'll notice, I'm not asking what are you going to do, but who are you going to be? I'm asking you about how you plan to live your life every day. How are you going to respond when you don't get that job you had your heart set on? For all of you who are going to be teachers, what are you going to do if the students in your class next year just don't respond to your lessons? For all of you going into business, how will you react when your boss gives you a goal that feels way too high? See, these are the moments that define us. Not the day you get the promotion, not the day you win Teacher of the Year, but the times that force you to claw and scratch and fight just to get through the day. The moments when you get knocked down and you're wondering whether it's even worth it to get back up. See, those are the times when you've got to ask yourself, who am I going to be? And I want to be clear, this isn't just some vague platitude about building character. In recent years, we've actually been seeing a growing body of research that shows that skills like resilience and conscientiousness can be just as important to your success as your test scores or even your IQ. If you're willing to work and work until your weaknesses become your strengths, then you'll develop a set of skills that you can mold and apply to any situation you encounter, any job you might have, any crisis you might confront. But you got to make that choice. Who are you going to be? So graduates, think about how this will apply to your own lives in the future. As you move on, you're going to come across all kinds of people from all different places and faiths and walks of life. And you can choose to pass them by without a word, or you can choose to reach out to them, no matter who they are or where they come from or what ideas they might have. Embracing the diversity of experience and opinion that surrounds us everywhere we go. So I encourage you all, seek it out. Don't just spend time with people your own age. You would be amazed at the wisdom they have to offer. If you're a Democrat, spend some time talking to a Republican. And if you're a Republican, have a chat with a Democrat. Maybe you'll find some common ground, maybe you won't. But if you honestly engage with an open mind and an open heart, I guarantee you will learn something. And goodness knows, we need more of that. Because we know what happens when we only talk to people who think like we do. We just get more stuck in our ways. You can get past all that. You've got the freedom of an open mind. And thanks to today's technology, you're connected to each other and to the world like never before. So you can either choose to use those opportunities to continue fighting the fights that we've been locked in for decades, or you can choose to reject those old divisions and embrace folks with a different point of view. And if you do that, the latter, who knows where it might take you? And let me just share just a little secret before I end. As someone who has hired and managed hundreds of young people over the course of my career, the answers to those questions, believe me, are far more important than you can ever imagine. Whether it was during my time as a lawyer, as an administrator, as a university, a nonprofit manager, even now as First Lady, I have never once asked someone I was interviewing to explain a test score or a grade in a class. Never. I have never once made a hire just because someone went to an Ivy League school instead of a state school. Never. What I have looked for is what kind of person you are. Are you a hard worker? Are you reliable? Are you open to other viewpoints? Have you stepped outside of your own self-interest to serve others? Again and again, I have seen that those are the qualities that I want on my team, because those are the qualities that move our businesses and schools and our entire country forward. And just understand this. Those are the qualities that you all already embody. They're the values you learned from your parents, from the communities you grew up in. They are the skills you developed here at EKU as you worked so hard to make it to this day. And today, more than ever before, that's what the world needs. We need more people like you. So after you've come this far, after all of the ups and downs, I hope that it is no longer a question of whether or not you can make it in this world, but how and where you're going to make your mark.
If you're wondering what career to choose, what you might not know is that you've actually already started. A career is not just a job you get paid to do. It's a collection of everything you've done so far. Everything that's given you some kind of experience in some kind of something. The stuff you learned at school, the skills you developed in unpaid work, a project you started in your garage, your family responsibilities, and any involvement in sports or community organisations are all valuable building blocks of your career. It might be intimidating to think about your future, but it might help to realise you've already made a bunch of important decisions without really trying. Imagine what you can do when you really put your mind to it. As a young person, you might be asking yourself these kinds of career questions. Should I try out for the local footy team? Which subject should I pick next year? Do I want to do an apprenticeship, traineeship? Shall I get a casual or part-time job? But career decisions don't stop when you finally land a job. When you're an adult, you might ask, should I go for that promotion? Should I coach the local sports team? Can I improve my skills through a specific course? Should I get a second job and pay off the mortgage? I'd like to give back to the community. Where can I volunteer? Whatever path you choose to take, the stuff you're doing now and the stuff you've already done will be a great clue on what you're good at and what you could end up doing. So no need to start your career, just keep it growing.
Yeah, I love Michelle's different perspective on the usual question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Rather than that, asking that question, who do you want to be? Because it really forces you to think about yourself and who you are, and also helps you to think about what your contribution is going to be. So yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, and I think especially as jobs are changing so rapidly, it's going to become much harder to anticipate what kind of jobs will be available in a few years' time. So asking more about who you want to be rather than what you want to be actually makes much more sense. And I also really like the concept of a career being a collection of everything you've done so far. So that might be a new kind of concept to you, especially if you're a young person watching this. So thinking about all the things that interest you, the things that you've done so far in your life, that all leading towards sort of the bigger picture of your career. And sometimes it actually takes you quite a long time, and then you look back at what you've done and you understand your career better than when you're looking forward. So it's going to take time to make sense, of your path, but that's okay. That's really exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
That's part of the joy of developing a career. And these days also a career can consist of lots of different jobs, all kind of connecting together or weaving together.
Yeah, definitely. So, shall we do another career Jenga?
Let's do another Jenga.
Okay,
let's see if I can yet again succeed. Let's try for this one. Okay, the plant's slightly getting in the way here, but I think we're okay. I think we're
well done.
We're free. Do you want to read this one out?
Yeah, okay. Okay, what could you do right now to help you figure out your next steps and career path?
Dun, dun, dun. So should we watch the next film and find out?
Did you know that parents are the most important influence in their child's career choices? The research shows that young people tend to share their parents' ideas about work and aspirations for the future, which, if you're a parent, can be exciting and intimidating at the same time. Talking about careers can be tricky, but we have a few tips that can make the whole process much easier. The first thing to know is that your teenager doesn't need to choose a career path before they finish school. They just need to have some idea about what they're going to do next. It's completely normal to not know what you want to do when you grow up, even as an adult, so let them focus on the next steps if they're not ready to make the big choices. Try to focus on their strengths. So, ask them questions about what they're doing well and which subjects do they enjoy, rather than just talking about jobs all the time. And don't panic if they come up with any wacky ideas. They could either be genius or a dead end, but either way, your teen needs to figure that out for themselves. Big conversations can sometimes feel a little awkward, and micro conversations are often where you'll find the good stuff. So, create moments where you can share just 5 minutes together, like in the car on the way to school or while you're eating breakfast. Plus, Talking side by side can feel more comfortable than face to face. Don't forget to watch how you talk about work as well. Kids pick up a lot about work from what you say, so try to avoid venting about your boss and share the good moments as well as the difficult stuff. If you can, ask some other friends and family to join the conversation as well. Our young people are smart, resilient, and adaptable. And all the research shows that young people who are given time to make their own choices do a fantastic job of building their own future. So, take a breath and enjoy watching them go through this process.
It's quite something to think about the impact that parents and carers have on young people. And in some studies, up to 50% of people say their parents strongly influenced their career choice. So that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's worth thinking about how you talk to your child about their future. And hopefully that video gave you something to think about there.
Yeah, and we've also, on Get Career Confident, we've got a video about how to choose a career path and also top tips for parents and carers to talk to their teens about careers. So that's going to give you some more ideas about questions you can be asking and resources you can be looking at to help your child make informed decisions.
Yeah, so next we're going to hear from some young people in Sussex about their experiences of making choices and what they wish they'd known before they started out making these decisions. And for parents and carers of students watching who have special educational needs, we'll hear from one of our careers advisors, Kate, with some key information to think about.
I'm Georgie Jeffrey. I go to Becca and I'm studying double media and photography.
I'm Phoebe Jones and the course I'm studying is Level 3 Horticulture and I'm on my second year at Plumpton College.
My name's Natasha. I'm studying at Newman College in Hove and I'm studying biology, chemistry, psychology and criminology.
I'm Blake Miller. I'm currently studying fashion and business Level 3 at Brighton Met. I'm in my second year of it.
Hello, my name is Anvita. I am studying classical civilizations, history and English literature at Bexhill College.
Well, over lockdown, I got really into houseplants and I've always gardened with my grandparents and my mum. So it's always kind of been an underlying passion. I think lockdown was the thing that pushed me to do it. I did look at different routes, like doing horticulture related A-levels. I just decided I wanted to actually get my hands dirty. I wanted to get stuck in and I feel like, doing A-levels, that's not a possibility to get all of that practical experience where you're actually in the field and, doing what you would be doing at work. I feel like it's that nice in between an apprenticeship and doing exams, doing A-levels.
I only got one pass in my GCSEs the first time around, and that was during COVID, so I didn't actually take the test, which made it even harder. But I basically didn't get the results I needed to get into my course, so I ended up doing a Prince's Trust course, which is like a starting out, base level, just get yourself on the ground running. I wish I knew beforehand how important it was, so I do think it's really important to focus on that level because there is a lot of push, and you need to also push yourself. But originally in my first year of this course, I was doing art level 3. And through the first module, I basically quit art and changed to fashion because it was a different thing to do. I also had skills in that area, so I knew that I would be okay at it. But it also was new enough that I challenge myself, which I think is really important when you do courses where there's a fine line between playing it safe and then also challenging yourself to learn new things.
See, I feel like it's different for different people because some people know immediately what they're going to do and other people will sort of juggle around different things. For me, I knew that I wanted to do something in humanities, so I went for English literature, was pretty much a no-brainer. History and classical civilizations was a bit more difficult for me to decide because I was sort of flip-flopping between ancient history or classics. But I chose these subjects mainly because I love humanities and also because I enjoy the style of work. I prefer writing essays. Going into a subject that I hadn't studied before was actually a lot easier than I expected it to be. I think if you're interested in the subject, you'll be fine. Like that's the benchmark, to be honest.
I had a tour around this college and also Basvic, which is just down the road. And because both colleges offered similar subjects, that kind of thing. So it wasn't that swayed my choice. It was how I felt when I walked in. And other colleges just felt really big and overwhelming. And even though the people were lovely, I just didn't get the feeling of wanting to study there.
I kind of have just like all my hopes set on getting any job in the film industry, like producer, pretty big dream of mine.
Yeah, well, I'm planning on taking a gap year, but after I take my gap year, I want to go to university to study garden design. So hopefully I'll be self-employed eventually.
I now want to study biomedical science at uni, and then I want to go into teaching. So that's kind of the route it's taken, and that's through kind of having the opportunities here as well, because I do volunteering and stuff so much with like the year 7s and the year 10s that kind of shaped what I wanted to do. So it's kind of worked out really nicely, to be honest.
I know people who know exactly what they're going to do and have like a whole career path memorized and planned out. I don't. I'm at the moment, I'm currently interested in I want to stay in education for as long as possible, number one. And number two, I think careers wise, definitely something in the humanities. I'm thinking a lecturer in a college or university would be something that I'm interested in.
I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. I'd done a lot of research. I knew how much writing there'd be, because it's level 3, there's not as much practical. There's a good amount, but not as much. So
this specific course, I would say it really has been what I wanted to get out of a fashion course. You get taught like knitting, crochet, plaster, which is in fashion as well, surprisingly. As many things as I could do, I wanted to learn, which I think the course provides quite well.
I didn't expect exam prep. I didn't know there was going to be multiple exams, but I'm actually quite excited for those. So yeah, no, I didn't expect anything about the business side of it all.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't worried so much. I wish I'd just let it happen and just like embraced it a bit more, which I did a couple of weeks in, but right at the beginning I was so scared, and I just wish I could go back and tell myself that I didn't need to be scared and didn't need to worry. Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Just enjoy it. Don't stress about it too much, honestly. Like, the best thing about doing a course like what you can study at Plumpton is you're doing something you genuinely just enjoy.
I wish someone had just said that you'll find the right place, like you'll find the right people in that place as well. You'll like gravitate to people that suit you and suit your personality.
I think it's really important to find people who encourage you to do the work and also make you happy as a person, because it is equal parts being happy as a person and also being happy in what you do. And I think it's very important to find people who are similar to you in the way of like, okay, we can have a laugh and a joke, but we need to like get our heads down and do work. It is really beneficial to just sit down and focus, which is really hard. As someone who has autism, it's very hard to focus on things sometimes. But one thing I wish I had like fully taken in is that I should take the help I'm given, because I was very against taking the help that I needed because I didn't want to feel like less than other kids who like didn't need the help. I really do think it would have helped me a lot more if I just took on what I was given.
In year 12, I did a lot of work experience. I did work experience in some labs because I knew that would help me decide if I wanted to do medicine or biomedical science. And I also did some work experience in a hospital. And I decided not to go down the medicine route just because the feeling I had in the hospital I didn't enjoy it as much as I'd hoped I would. So I knew that I wanted to go down the biomed route instead.
Take a good look at everything, at all the options you can do, and like do what you want to do and what you will find interesting. Because I think it's very, very important to find something you're interested in. Otherwise, you really can't do the work well. And with like personal interest into what you do, it makes the work so much easier. Choose wisely and choose something that you know will make you happy. Take advantage of the years that you have of free education, especially, because that's something I didn't take into account when I first started. Use the time you have wisely. I think that's the main thing I would say. Use it wisely.
Hello, my name is Kate and I'm a careers advisor. I'm discussing future options and support. When looking at your future options, it can be helpful to think about the things that you're interested in and that you enjoy, and how these can link into your future career ideas and aspirations. If you're not going to be taking level 2 qualifications or GCSEs, then you might want to look at foundation learning or inclusion pathways. You could also look at work skills or employability courses. These can help to build up your skills and qualifications, and then you could move on to options such as further education courses, supported internships, pre-apprenticeship programs and traineeships, voluntary work and supported employment, as well as looking at options through the local offer. If you're going to be taking level 2 or GCSE qualifications, then you could look at different pathways, including academic, work-based or vocational options, which are offered at different levels. These could then lead on to further college courses, higher education and university, apprenticeships, employment and self-employment as well. There are a wide range of post-16 providers across the local area, both big and small, who are well equipped to provide support to young people with special educational needs and disabilities. They are also able to continue to provide the support that you've had at school. To find out more about the different options and providers, please have a look at the Send section on the What's Next Sussex directory on Get Career Confident. Each college or post-16 provider will have a person or team of people responsible for making sure that you get the support that you need at college. It's important to let them know as early as possible about the support that you do need, so that they can make sure that it's in place when you start your course. Remember to check about the financial support that might be available to you. There's a 16 to 19 bursary fund that's also available to young people who are 19 or over with an EHCP. This can be for help with things such as books, equipment and also travel. So check with your post-16 provider about how to apply and what you might be eligible for. If you're looking at going on to higher education or university, there's Disabled Students Allowance, DSA. This can help you with paying for support that you might need on your course, and unlike a student loan, you don't have to pay this money back. This can be used for things such as specialist equipment, communication support, sign language interpreters, mentoring and personal tutoring. Remember that it's your future and there's lots of different options that could be available to you. So it's important to have a look at the different choices and choose the pathway that best suits you. Thank you.
When you reach 16, your views and opinions are taken into consideration more with the decisions you make regarding different areas of your plan. However, this doesn't mean that your support is lost, as you can still have support from a member of your family or key worker.
After 16, young people can say which school or college they would prefer to go to, and the local authority will consider their choice. Before, it was just parents who could do this. Your EHC plan is tailor-made for you. That means you can keep all those reports or plans and dates that you need with your support in it. However, if you decide that you no longer need your plan, you can talk to the local authority and tell them how you feel. They may agree and you could move out of your plan.
If you choose to go to university, your education, health and care plan would stop. and you will be able to apply for other kinds of support. This is the same for young people who get a job or move out of education.
The advice I'd give to any young person who's looking at post-16 options is to go and look at what apprenticeships are out there, be it through university or college, find out what company they're offering the apprenticeship with, and if that's part of your passion, then go for it. Just go and be doing an apprenticeship that you're passionate about with a college or university.
After you leave school, you have a choice of different things to do. For example, you can go to college or take part in training like an apprenticeship or supported internship. Schools, colleges and other education providers will help you explore your aspirations for the future. This includes, importantly, the option of independent living if that's what you wish to do.
So it's really great to hear from young people who are just at the beginning of their career journey. And I think one of the most important takeaways I got is about GCSEs. And even though they are super important, and you're probably hearing that from teachers every day, it can sometimes feel quite overwhelming. So I think it's really good to recognise that everything will be okay. And even if things turn out differently to how you expected, there will be a way through. So I think that's a key thing to remember, to reassure yourselves.
Yeah, and it's really great to hear about options for young people with special educational needs. And whatever your needs are, do make sure that your next destination is aware of your needs so that they can properly support you in being successful. Okay, so next we're going to find out about all the different possible pathways and what to consider to make sure that you keep your options open.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, welcome to this presentation brought to you by Connections, where we will be exploring post-16 options to help you think about what you might want to do after Year 11. Right now you're working towards your GCSEs and hopefully aiming for 4s and 5s, especially in Maths and English, as if you don't get a passing grade in Maths and English, you will have to resit them alongside your next course. When you complete and pass your GCSEs, you will have Level 2 qualifications. So the next step is to climb the ladder and work towards a Level 3 qualification. And as you can see, there are many options. They are A-levels in green, vocational qualifications like BTECs or T-levels in orange, and apprenticeships on the purple side. So let's compare the difference between A-levels and BTECs, which you would study for at sixth form or college. It's important to bear in mind that college is a larger and much more independent learning environment, so it helps to be quite self-motivated. Where sixth forms are more like school and are smaller, so if you think you'd learn best with a bit more structure and support, then sixth forms may be a better option for you. Either way, colleges and sixth forms offer different combinations of Level 3 qualifications such as A-levels and BTECs. The main difference between A-levels and BTECs is that a BTEC lets you focus on a broad range of skills, theory and practical across one subject area or vocation, whereas A-levels let you combine 3 different subjects with an academic focus. Sometimes you can combine the two depending on the provider. However, they both take 2 years to complete, but the entry requirements may differ slightly. The entry requirements for BTECs are typically 4 GCSEs grade 4 to 9, including Maths and English, or a Level 2 BTEC, whereas entry requirements for A-levels are slightly higher, asking for 5 GCSEs grade 5 to 9, including Maths and English. Some subjects, particularly the ones you want to take, may have a specific entry requirement of grades 6 or 7. Assessment methods is one of the key differences. BTECs are assessed by a combination of coursework, practical work, sometimes group work and examination, where A-levels are assessed mainly by exam. Either way, with appropriate results, you can progress onto higher education, higher or degree apprenticeships or employment. T-levels are a new alternative Level 3 qualification that you could do instead of a BTEC or your A-levels. T-levels let you focus and develop technical skills for a specific job sector or role. T-levels are 80% classroom based and 20% work placement. This is different to A-levels and BTECs, which are classroom based, and mirrors apprenticeships, which is an 80% work placement and 20% classroom based qualification. The key feature of a T-level is a 45-day work placement. This can be done as a block, over individual days, or a combination of the two. Your college or training provider will help you organise your placement. A T-level is equivalent to 3 full A-levels and a Level 3 BTEC Extended Diploma, which means it gives you UCAS points. These are points you need to progress onto higher education. Just like BTECs and A-levels, T-levels take 2 years full-time. They are graded just like a BTEC as pass, merit, distinction or distinction star. You would apply for a T-level via a college or a training provider, differently to apprenticeships where you would apply to the employer. Entry requirements vary, but typical entry is 5 GCSEs grade 4 and above, including Maths and English, and or a relevant Level 2 qualification. And again, progression with appropriate results can lead into higher education, higher and degree apprenticeships, and employment. As this framework demonstrates, a full BTEC diploma and a T-level is equivalent to 3 full A-levels, so either option will take you a step up the ladder into employment or higher education. And the same goes for apprenticeships. And you can start these as soon as you leave school at 16. And in general, apprenticeships are full-time jobs with training. You would apply for an apprenticeship role directly through an employer and they will organise your training for you. Your training may be delivered remotely, or you may attend a classroom-based training session, sometimes once a week, sometimes in blocks. Apprenticeships are a way to learn on the job and gain a recognised qualification. Your apprenticeship contract may lead to the offer of a permanent position. If not, you would have spent at least a year gaining experience and skills in a workplace, as well as a qualification which you can use to apply for your next position. All apprentices must be paid the minimum apprenticeship wage, depending on the level, and some employers will pay more than this. And you can start as soon as you officially leave school. As previously mentioned, apprenticeships are offered at a variety of levels. Typically, the higher the level, the more competitive the entry requirements, but you can move up through these levels, so you may end up starting on the lower level and working your way up. If all of the options can lead into higher education or employment, how do you decide? First and foremost, what do you want to learn? A-levels let you combine a mixture of subjects, so if you can't decide, they're probably the best option for you. However, if you have a specific career or vocation in mind, or want to learn a broader range of skills for a specific subject, a BTEC, T-level or apprenticeship might be something worth considering. Another important thing to consider is, what are your career goals? Remember, BTECs, T-levels and apprenticeships are vocation specific, so the things you learn may only be relevant to one subject or industry. If you are certain about your career goals and you do want to learn about that career on the job, then apprenticeships are a good option, and they are available in a wide range of areas. One thing to bear in mind, however, is that whilst you can gain a degree level qualification via the apprenticeship route in many subject areas, if you want or need to go to universities to study for a bachelor's degree for the career you want, BTECs or A-levels may be a better option. And that is why it's really important to do your research. Another thing to consider is, how do you learn best? Your learning style is key. Do you feel like you don't perform your best in exam situations? Or do you just prefer hands-on practical learning? Then a BTEC, T-level or apprenticeship might be the most suitable pathway. And finally, remember that apprenticeships are full-time jobs, so you need to be able to commit to that. If you are, then is there a suitable apprenticeship available? If you're not ready to go out into the world of work, then BTECs, T-levels or A-levels are better options for you. Here's a summary of our top tips. Set aside some time to research, draft and make applications. Ask a friend, family member or teacher to look over them for you. Check out what subject qualifications you might need for the career you want. If you're thinking of going to university, also see if there are any subject-specific entry requirements. Apply for as many post-16 options as you wish. You should always have a backup plan. Attend open events at all relevant providers in order to make informed decisions. And finally, talk to a careers advisor if you're not sure.
Who are you going to be? It's a huge question, and you probably don't have a clue, and that's okay. So how are you supposed to choose A-level subjects? What are you good at? A-levels can be a lot tougher than GCSEs, and teachers will expect a high level of independent work. Think about the subjects you're studying now. Which ones are you predicted to get the best grades in? Which are you best at? Picking your subjects strategically means you stand the greatest chance of getting the results you need to make it onto your next step, whatever this might be. Choose facilitating subjects. Facilitating subjects are a handful of A-level subjects you'll often see in university entry requirements. These are subjects like biology, English, geography, history, maths, or modern languages. Think of them as the core subjects you're used to studying now. Choosing some of these subjects means that, even if right now you have no idea what to study at university, you're keeping your options open. What do you enjoy? Whichever subjects you choose, you'll be immersed in them for the next 2 years, and it's difficult to do well in a subject that you're not interested in. Do some research before you choose to make sure you find the modules interesting, and that you enjoy using the skills you'll need to succeed. Are you planning to do a degree? Certain university courses need specific A-levels. If you already know what you'd like to study at university, or you have a rough idea, look up which subjects it needs and make these a priority. Do you have a career in mind? If you already know what you want to be, you're a step further ahead than most people. If you already know what you want to do after school or college, look for subjects that will help you get there. And that's it. Whatever subjects you choose, and whatever you do after school or college, there is an adventure waiting for you, and it's never too late to start planning for it.
Welcome to the next level, T-levels, the post-GCSE qualification that combines in-class learning and work experience. It's the best of both worlds, where theory meets practice. It's the know-how. T-levels are designed with 250 leading employers, so students can focus on the knowledge and skills businesses really need today and tomorrow. The subject list is growing year on year, with 24 courses available by 2023. Each one opening doors to work placements, industry contacts, and career paths. One T-level is worth 3 A-levels. From here, students can go anywhere. Onto university, take on a higher apprenticeship, or launch your career and get straight into work. This is more than a qualification. Designed with employers, we're creating young people who are work-ready, full of fresh ideas and practical skills, ready to shake up the industry and take businesses to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Get clued up, skilled up, and leveled up. Opportunities are there for the taking. Get ahead. T-levels, the next level qualification.
making decisions about post-16 choices. It's hard figuring out what to do after your GCSEs. The decisions you make can impact the qualifications you study, even the jobs you can do. Think about the decisions you're making, and to help you out, here are our top tips. Do research into how people get jobs or careers you're interested in. Find out if there's something you need to do to get where you want to go in the future. Don't worry if you don't know what you want to do. Ask yourself what subjects you enjoy and what you're good at. Ask a teacher what the next step in your favourite subject is. What could you do with this in the future? Think about how you like to be taught and assessed. There's different qualification types for different ways of learning. Think about where you want to study. Does your school have a sixth form? Does a college offer courses you want to study? Visit, see what they're like and if you'd enjoy studying there. And remember to check if they have entry requirements. Speak to people. Ask the right people for their advice and talk your options through with them. But remember, make the best choice for you.
Okay, so we've heard about A-levels, BTECs, T-levels, apprenticeships and NVQs, I think it was. And these are all possible options after you finish your GCSEs. And depending on what you enjoy, your style of learning and what your aspirations are, there's going to be an ideal route for you. And also just to say that if you are concerned that you're not going to get any GCSEs or you might not pass your maths and English, there is still going to be an option for you.
Absolutely. So for example, if you pass most subjects and maybe fail just either maths or English, most people will still be able to go on and do a full level 3 course such as A-levels. If you haven't achieved or if you don't achieve many or any GCSEs, then it might be that you do another year of level 2 qualifications. So you retake your maths and English along with maybe a few other GCSEs. But you could also look at traineeships, for example, if you want to go into the apprenticeship route, because that's like a pre-apprenticeship. So the important thing is to check with the college that you had applied to see what they say, because it might be that they can offer you a different pathway for that first year.
Yeah. So remember a few years ago, the government introduced a law which means that every young person has to stay in education or training until you're 18. So you can't just go and get a job that doesn't have training alongside it. Now, for some of you, this might sound frustrating, but do remember that everyone continues to learn throughout their life. And so, see it as an opportunity to learn and do something that you're really interested in.
Yeah. So we are now going to hear a little bit about higher education. And I know this right now you're thinking about, what am I going to do after my GCSEs? This might feel like a long way away. But for some of you, it's actually going to be really important to think a little bit into the future, because some careers and some university degrees actually require you to have certain specific subjects studied at A-level, for example. So you can check entry requirements to different degrees at ucas.com, and hopefully we'll put that on the screen for you. And there are over 30,000 different degree courses. That's a lot of degree courses you can choose from. So there's lots of really surprising degrees out there. So I think we're going to put some of these up here and want you to have a little look at this list and decide if you think any of these are real or if any of these are fake. So maybe pause the video for a moment and you can discuss this in pairs or in a group and see which of these you think might be real or fake. So I think you'll find some of these degrees were pretty surprising. I mean, personally, I quite like the sound of yodeling, the yodeling degree. I think I'd be quite good at that. And maybe some of you thought some of those look really great. So let's now go and find out a little bit more about what it means to study at degree level and whether it's right for you. So you can have a think about that.
Hi, my name is Jess and I work for Higher Horizons, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the benefits that come with going into higher education. So there's lots of reasons why people go to university and lots of benefits. For example, there's a lot of jobs out there that actually need a degree as a qualification. So you need to do your research on what you want to do as a job and does it require a degree. Other reasons, it helps build confidence. You learn what we call transferable skills. So all the skills that you can get in any degree are required in any job. These are things like communication, how to write emails, give presentations, work as a team. All those skills that you get at degree level, they will help you become more employable. So with a degree, you actually improve your career prospects, you are more employable, you have more doors opened up to you, and on average, a graduate earns £10,000 a year more than somebody who hasn't been to university. There is also the social side of university and higher education, so you have your clubs and societies, making lots of friends and meeting lots of different people from all kinds of cultural backgrounds. So as well as the learning side of higher education, there is also a really good social side. You might have the opportunity to travel abroad and you meet friends for life as well. When it comes to choosing your course, it has to be right for you. So do your research. There's lots of degrees and courses out there that have different elements of learning. You might have some theory, but a lot of them are also very practical based, and there's quite a lot of courses out there that don't even include exams. So make sure that when you choose that course, it's right for your style of learning. If you have any questions about higher education or choosing a university course, you can contact either myself or anyone part of the Higher Horizons team at higherhorizons.co.uk/ask.
Say hello to Higher Technical Qualifications. These are Level 4 and 5 qualifications, such as HNDs and foundation degrees, that sit between ANT levels and degrees, that have been independently approved against the knowledge and skills that employers say they need. Higher Technical Qualifications, or HTQs, can lead to high-skilled, highly paid jobs in a wide range of sectors, giving you a step up in your chosen career, or further study, or a trusted route to help your workforce get the skills they need. The first Higher Technical Qualifications in digital occupations will be taught from 2022, leading to jobs like network engineer, software developer, and data analyst. HTQs in health and science and construction will start being taught in 2023, with full rollout of further occupations by 2025. They will be taught in further education colleges, universities, institutes of technology, and independent training providers across the country, giving learners choice and flexibility in how and where they study. We want HTQs to be a prestigious and popular choice to get ahead, a high quality option alongside apprenticeships and degrees. With HTQs, learners and employers can have confidence in courses that provide the skills they need to succeed. Look out for the Approved Qualifications Quality Mark logo and ask your local college or training provider about Higher Technical Qualifications. Find out more at this web address.
So hopefully that's given you some information about whether university might be right for you or not, and why it's important to think about it right now.
So we wanted to remind you that you can look at courses across Sussex by looking at the directory on Get Career Confident on the website. And you can search by the type of course, you can search by provider, and you can see where they are on the map as well. And you can just generally get an idea of the options available to you in your area. So do have a look at that.
And it's also good to mention at this point, in terms of applications to colleges, if you live in Brighton and Hove or in West Sussex, then you apply directly to any college that you're interested in. But if you're in East Sussex, then you actually apply through careerseastsussex.co.uk, which hopefully we'll be putting on the screen now. And their website's also got lots of useful careers information that you can go and visit. So go have a look at that now.
Okay, so we've talked about you and your options, and now what we're going to do is look at the world of work and how you might fit in it. So starting with what the future of work might look like for you. So let's see what Jenga has to offer. So we're going to do another one here.
Yeah,
without
we're doing
knocking the
pretty
tower
well
over.
so far. Yeah, so let's see if we can Oh God, oh no, this one's not wanting to come out. I can go this way, I think. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. I think I'm losing my touch.
Ooh.
Hey.
Well done.
Okay, do you want to read this one out?
Okay, right. It says, name a job that didn't exist 10 years ago. Interesting.
So maybe have a think about that while we watch the next videos.
The office of the future is going to be a place that could be anywhere. It's going to be a place that you do not go to all the time. We need to be fully flexible in our outlook about how offices are used and where we work. But at the core of this debate about workers is that everybody wants to understand why they're being asked to do the work and to do the work fairly in a way that meets the era we're in. And that era I call the nowhere office, because we need to embrace the fact that we are nowhere where we were and we are going to the next phase of work. It's a very important and exciting moment.
The future of work is human. Forget what you've heard about robot machines and machine robots. They can lift, stack, collect, deliver, process, drive, and compute. But they lack one thing that can never be faked: humanity. Humans care. They talk, think, support, design, and help. And no humanoid robot can ever do that the way we can. Don't get me wrong, in the next 20 years, technology will grow to touch every single part of our lives. We're already tracking, weighing, monitoring, and scanning everything we do. And this isn't a bad thing. More data can help us spot problems sooner, like cancers and infection. It can help us manage stock levels and ensure that food and medicine gets to where it needs to go. Factories as we know them are dying out. Machines don't take sick leave, and they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They take over the repetitive, tedious, and unsatisfying work of the production line, which frees us up to be human. The jobs of the future are not ones where we dig holes and manufacture in bulk by hand. The jobs of the future are ones where we hold hands and soothe nerves, where we create, design, invent, and adapt. The jobs of the future will require us to listen as well as talk, to share and collaborate, and to lead and be led. They'll require human skills, ones that can't be faked or manufactured no matter how clever the machines may become. They'll need us to solve problems and come up with new ways of doing things while preserving what makes us, us. We don't know what the jobs of the future will look like, but you can still prepare for them. Practice your human skills, your empathy, your listening, your teamwork and your leadership. Practice planning and organising, taking initiative, and building your resilience. Learn the language and numeracy skills you need to communicate and calculate, and bite off every opportunity you can chew, so that when the time comes, you'll be ready.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to see how things are changing, and it looks like that hybrid working is the way to go now in the future, as we saw in the Nowhere Office video.
And I really like the idea that was talked about in the second video about focusing on the unique human skills that we possess, and also the importance of biting off every opportunity that you can chew, as it were. And that's something I'm always going on about.
Yeah,
So about
definitely. Yeah. So one thing that's really surprising is how rapidly jobs are changing. Did you know that 23% of today's jobs will change? So maybe take a moment to guess what the fastest growing and the most declining jobs are. You might want to pause the video for that.
So did any of those surprise you? I mean, some of those jobs certainly were ones that didn't exist 10 years ago. Did you guess any of those? And what about the top skills of 2023? What do you think are the skills that are most in demand at the moment? Again, you might want to pause the video while you just have a think about this, either by yourself or with your friends at school.
So a lot of those skills do fit in with the whole idea of developing our human skills as much as possible. So the next videos we'll look at to introduce a very much growing and very important area of work, which is green and sustainable careers. Now, we have a range of videos all about green careers on the Get Career Confident website, so you can explore green careers as well as a course search to find green related qualifications that you can do. So make sure that you take a look at those as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited that green careers are becoming more popular, and I think this is definitely an area worth looking into. And after that video, we're going to hear from employers across Sussex that are representing some of the key sectors, and hopefully that's going to inspire you to maybe consider some new career ideas. And now we're going to have a next Jenga question. Let's see if we can get this piece out successfully.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yep. I'm getting the skills. This is I'm not sure this is a uniquely human skill, but it's, it's one I apparently have.
What does it say?
Oh, okay. So name a growing career sector in Sussex. So I think we won't say anything. We'll see what the people that we've interviewed across Sussex have to say about that. And hopefully the next video is going to help. And if any of the videos that you're now about to see, any of the people that we have interviewed interest you, then do have a look at their individual longer videos, which will be available on Get Career Confident. And also some of the employers will be available for the chat. So if you're watching this on October 17th between 1:30 and 3 and 6 and 7:30, hop on the chat and see if the employers are there to have a chat with you.
In recent years, with the extreme temperatures, flash floods, forest fires, droughts, wars, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic, the world looks and feels like a very different place. More recently, we have been experiencing an energy crisis, which has resulted in the cost of paying for gas and electricity for most people in the UK to at least double. This means millions of people will be paying far more for their energy use than ever before, and will likely push many families into poverty. So what has caused this, and what or who is to blame? The energy regulator Ofgem stated that the increase in heating costs is due to a record rise in global gas prices, and this is because of a perfect storm of market causes. These include China's increased demand for gas, which has meant less has been available for Europe. Russia, while at war with Ukraine, has refused to make up the shortfall. The UK experiencing issues with power generation and storage, and many smaller UK energy companies going bankrupt as they haven't been able to withstand the rising energy costs. The end result is far more costly energy and less options for the consumer to choose who their supplier is. Currently, 87% of UK households rely on gas, and gas is used heavily in many parts of industry, including food production, steel manufacturing, and chemical factories. This reliance on fossil fuels is not sustainable. So what can we do? Part of the government's 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution, with a target of achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050, is to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels imported from other countries and instead move to renewable energy sources like wind and solar power. Additionally, by retrofitting our homes and buildings, we can improve insulation and make our energy usage more efficient and cost-effective. What can you do? The 3 pillars of sustainability are often informally referred to as people, planet, and profit. We are in this position due to years of reliance on energy systems that are finite, and people have put profit before the planet. But it also means that people can turn this around. As Greta Thunberg says,
"But the climate crisis has already been solved. We already have all the facts and solutions. All we have to do is to wake up and change."
My name's Devon Pearce. I am the commercial director at a company based in Brighton called Trailer Farm.
My name is Duncan Toms and I'm the general manager of the Greenhouse Sussex Limited.
My name's Julie Jimman. I'm a practice nurse and I'm also a practice development facilitator working for a training hub.
My name's Paul Rolfe. I'm the director of the Sussex and Surrey Institute of Technology.
My name's Scott Monk. I'm managing director here at GM Monk Electrical Contractors.
We are a video games agency and production company. So we do everything from creating video game trailers. We also create cutscenes and in-game content, anything that's basically not playable within a video game. Clients come to us and we create those things for them.
We grow tomatoes from baby plants all the way through to the end of their growing life. So we start growing tomatoes around about February and then we finish in November. All our tomatoes are grown and sold on the vine so that we maximise all their quality.
I have two roles. I work in a GP surgery and we provide care to all people in our community, living in our community, from babies to adults. And I also work as a practice development facilitator. I provide support to teams, so practice teams, all those working in general practice, because if we can't look after those, then they can't look after our patients.
The Sussex and Surrey Institute of Technology is an exciting collaboration between the Chichester College Group, which is a further education college across West Sussex, Nescott, which is based in Surrey, and two universities that are based in Sussex, the University of Brighton and the University of Sussex. And collectively, we deliver post-16 degrees, apprenticeships and qualifications.
Primarily, GM Monk is an electrical contractor, but we also carry out fire alarm, security and renewables sides of the business now. So it's an ever-changing environment with new technologies joining us as they come on board.
I'm the commercial director, so my responsibility is looking after the team that essentially brings in the money. So I look after the sales team and all the account managers as well.
My key responsibilities are managing the site and making sure the site runs and runs well.
I provide lots of different care. You might remember coming into the practice to see your nurse for an asthma review or for your injections when you were very small. I work with lots of other professions. I work with doctors and physios and paramedics, all our reception staff, and I do a lot of health promotion and I keep people well.
My role is really exciting because it's working with the different providers who provide education for our students. It's also working really closely with employers to understand their needs so that we are delivering programs that they need.
My job is mainly focusing on office-based work, so overseeing other senior leaders, finance, contracts, payroll. It's not going out to site. There's other people within the business that do that part. And my background, believe it or not, was a teacher at one point.
I work with a great team of people and they're all people that care about other people, and that really makes me happy. We're all here to support the population, to support individuals and families.
Whatever you're interested in doing, if you're creative or even if you're not creative but you like the idea of working in a creative industry, there's something for you to do at Trailer Farm, and every single day is different. At any one time we're working on about 20 different projects and they're all different stages of production.
From my point of view at this site is the people, and I know the people are great here. I've got people who've worked here for over 40 years, some of them, so they're really knowledgeable about what they do.
So we provide training for young people and adults. So we recruit talent ourselves, so we have lecturers, technicians, administration staff that support the running of our building.
We have pharmacists and physiotherapists, speech and language therapists, podiatrists, healthcare assistants, paramedics. We obviously have everybody supporting our back office, which is our administrators, our receptionists, our secretaries, our practice managers. There's a whole team that look after the patients.
In our business, like all produce businesses, there's a huge range of jobs and opportunities. You've got the actual people who work in the crop themselves. You've got the growers and the production teams that work with really high-tech computer systems to manage the environments in the crops. So use a lot of science to grow those crops. You've got an operations team that run the nursery and run all the staff. We've got a pack house here on site. And in the pack house, I've got a pack house manager and his team who pack all of our tomatoes that we grow on the site and outload them to the supermarkets. I've got an engineering department, I've got a HR department, I've got finance. We've got a massive range of jobs, management jobs, supervisors.
So we have about 11 members of staff now on the apprenticeship scheme, and they run from 16-year-olds to 25, 26, 27-year-olds. So we take a variety of apprenticeships on, and they lead on then to become an engineer. When you become an electrical engineer, it's you start off and your knowledge then always increases. So you may start off at the basic level, but then you progress to more site management where you're overseeing other electricians, and with that obviously the responsibility increases as well.
I know there's a potential for growth. Most often, if you get your foot in the door, then you will be sponsored. There'll be opportunities, internal opportunities, and your manager will say, what would you like to do here? Even now, in my role, there are so many career development opportunities and different courses that you can go on. So you're constantly learning. I think in the NHS, you never stop learning.
One of the absolute most important things, I think, for getting a job in this career, or even if you're coming from something else, is finding what your transferable skills are. So if you're working as a travel agent, are you really organised? Great, you can come and be a producer. Like that's a core skill that you need to be a producer. If you're working in a shop, have you got good customer service and sales experience? In which case, come and join my team and be part of the kind of account management and sales pitching team.
So early career, we offer apprenticeships. Certainly, as I was saying about the range of jobs that we've got here, so maintenance is a really important industry on the site for us, and engineering apprenticeships are definitely something that we look at. Also apprenticeships in the growing and production areas.
So we're also used to working with people that have got different neurodiversities as well, and actually, those people are very, very welcome in games. That having a heightened attention to detail, or just knowledge, or just having a really, really creative mind and thinking completely differently to other people is something that is very, very welcome. So
we're always looking for talent to join us, and we take people on who are experienced. We take school leavers on, and we train them through apprenticeships. Seen a huge surge in the number of young people and adults looking to take on apprenticeships, and we can help find placements both within the institute or one of our partners or the universities, and or with other companies as well.
The NHS are trying to become paperless. There is a lot of waste, and the NHS are completely aware of how much waste there is within the organisations, but we are trying to address it to become more digital, use of apps and digital platforms, and also a current move is to move away from inhalers that are bad for the environment.
Obviously, we've developed a renewable sector to our business that we train. So a lot of our electricians have done extra training in renewable sectors such as heat pumps and solar, and then we can use those skills with our existing client base. But as a business, we are in the process of developing our carbon reduction plan. So already we've started to implement electric vehicles, efficient lighting within the office, make sure that our recycling and the recycling on site is in the right areas.
Never end up regretting doing something, but you do regret not doing it. So I had a few opportunities when I was younger that I was perhaps too afraid to take. And I look back now and regret not doing them. Those two opportunities were one actually doing an apprenticeship with IBM, which I regret, and the other option was to study abroad for a year, which I regret. So yeah,
I think if I could go back and sort of give myself some advice, I would just say take every opportunity and create the opportunities, because they're there, you just need to find them. And then, move around, try different things, find what you really enjoy, and then you'll be good at it and it'll be easy.
I grew up as a member of the LGBT community in school, and unfortunately I didn't have a great time. I was bullied and life was tough. And I was fortunate to work my way through that. I actually learned a lot from it, and I'm now proud of my achievements. So I think it's just testament to tenacity, really, and working hard and just reaching for your goals, because I'm a great believer if you want it hard enough, you can make anything happen.
So now we know a little bit more about what's happening in the world of work, both locally and also worldwide. And it's important to remember that the future can feel daunting, but it can be exciting as well. And basically what you do with your life can contribute to the future. And the future isn't here yet, so there's no need to panic right now. So think about what you want to see in the world. What difference do you want to see? So one thing for certain is that whatever ideas you do or don't have for the future, you will need to be adaptable, and that's really important. You need to be flexible to cope with the changes happening in the world.
Absolutely. So the next and final section of films is all about your next steps. So, you've heard about the different pathways, you've heard about the world of work. Now we're going to think about, okay, how can we make some things happen? Because otherwise, without action, you're going to stay exactly where you are, and you need to move forward. So let's see what that brings us next.
One thing that can be really hard when you're feeling stressed or anxious or low or struggling with mental health issues is just doing the stuff that you would have done before. What some young people have told us is that by setting goals for themselves, setting challenges, can really help them get back to being a bit more active than they were before. We know that if young people aren't doing things, then it can sometimes make mental health difficulties worse, or at least can stop them getting better. So I'm going to give you some tips which might help you in setting goals for yourself, which might help you get back to being more active. Some things that can help when setting goals are, first of all, keep it simple. Don't be too ambitious. Set goals that you think you can manage, then give it a go. If you can't manage it, then just go for something that's even simpler, and keep going, keep making it simpler until you find that you can do it. The second thing is to do what's important to you. Doing things that you enjoy, or at least used to enjoy, getting back to routines like cleaning your teeth, putting your makeup on, or even getting dressed in the morning, or even things that you have to do like homework or other stuff. The third thing is to keep the goals small. Don't try and do big things. So if you want to set a goal for tidying your bedroom, don't try and do that all in one go. But think about cleaning out the plates from under your bed, or at least cleaning out one plate from under your bed. The fourth thing is to get others to help you. It can be really hard getting motivated to do things on your own. And if you can get someone else to help you do things, even if it's just reminding you or asking you how things are going, that can be really great. And finally, keep track of progress. Change can sometimes be really slow, and you might forget the progress that you're making. If you keep a tally of what you're doing, then you might see that, well, you're making progress, even though it might be slow, or you might feel that you're not making progress because you're setting goals that are too hard for you. And remember, just make them simple again. So the important thing to remember is not to put pressure on yourself. Start with small goals, and if they're not manageable, go with something that's even smaller and easier. Concentrate on what you're managing to do and not what you're not managing to do yet. And if you can get others involved, that's even more helpful. And remember, if this isn't an idea that works for you, there are lots of other ideas on the website, and choose the one that works best for you.
setting goals and breaking them down into manageable tasks is really important. Otherwise it's easy to just drift along, especially if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with life.
Yeah, and we're actually going to take out the next Jenga at this point. So I'm going to give this one a go. Let's see. Oh, it's getting a bit wobbly. Okay.
Well done.
Thank you. So this question is, name a healthy way to deal with stress. I think it's often about doing the basics well. So if you're eating well, you're sleeping well, you're relaxing well, you're working well, you're exercising, absolutely. And making sure you're speaking to loved ones, always ask for help when you need it. But make sure all of those things are in order, because that often will make the biggest difference to how you're experiencing stress and anxiety.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of your next steps for your career, make sure that you're getting out there, because yes, you can do your desk research, but there's no substitute for actually getting out there and talking to people and talking through your ideas, getting ideas from them and so on. And that's why work experience is so important. So it's not just about the work that you're doing, but it's another opportunity to have conversations with professionals who can give you some valuable advice. So let's do another Jenga. We're on a roll now.
This might be the last one.
Ooh, okay.
So let's see if we can actually get through it without toppling the tower. I'm going to go for this one down here because that looks...
Being brave.
I am being a bit brave, but now's the moment. Seize the day and all that. Yay!
Nice one.
Do you want to have a read of that one?
Okay, where is somewhere you could volunteer in the community? Where is somewhere you could volunteer in the community?
You might want to have a little pause to think about that for a moment. So there's tons of volunteering opportunities and opportunities for work experience across Sussex. I really recommend having a look at the Get Career Confidence website and also Careers East Sussex for ideas, and we'll put the URLs up there now so you can have a look at that. The other really crucial thing that we would recommend you do is to make sure you attend taster days and open evenings. So they're slightly different. That the taster days actually give you an experience of what a lesson might be like, whereas an open evening is more just getting to get a feel for the place, talk to teachers, talk to students. And it's really hard to tell if a college or if an apprenticeship provider is going to be right for you if you've not actually visited. So make sure you visit at least 2, ideally 3 different places to get a good feel if it's right for you.
Yeah, definitely. So once you have an idea of what you want to do and where you want to go, it's time to then get your application form in. So even if you're not absolutely sure about what you want to do or what subjects you want to do, get the application in, because the most important thing is to get an interview at the college. Otherwise, you might not get a space. So this is especially important for some colleges like Bastwick, which have a specific cut-off deadline, which is normally at the beginning of December. So if you miss it, you won't get a place at all.
And I think we already mentioned in Brighton and Hove and West Sussex, you can actually apply directly to each college online. And remember with Bastwick and Varndine College, you can't actually apply for the same courses. You have to pick one college above the other and choose the other as a second choice. And in East Sussex, make sure you apply through the Careers East Sussex website. And the video explaining how to do that is available on demand on Get Career Confident.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so once you've made your application, you can expect to have an interview in the new year. And we do have a video on what to expect on the What Next Sussex on demand section, and also on Get Career Confident. And if you're interested in apprenticeships, applications often will be in the spring to start in the summer after you've done your GCSEs. But you must apply to college as a backup plan as well.
That's so important. I'm going to repeat it. Yes, if you are applying to apprenticeships, do make sure you apply to college as well, because you cannot guarantee that you will get an apprenticeship in time to start in September. And for those of you who might be struggling and perhaps you end up not making any choices by the end of year 11, please don't worry, because there is provision across the county to support you to make sure your next steps are the right ones for you. So do check out our directory on Get Career Confident to find out who can help. So we know teenage years can be tricky, especially because the part of the brain that actually deals with planning and prioritising and making good decisions is actually the last part to mature.
So, as parents and carers, being an informed sounding board will make the process a lot smoother and really help your child to shift into the next stage of their career and life a bit more smoothly. So try to keep conversations open and accept that there might be some changes along the way in directions that you might not expect. But I think the key thing is to remember that there's always a plan B. So encourage your child to see their school careers advisor, and you can also use our chat on the website.
Yeah, and try to support them to maybe think beyond careers that are familiar to them. As well as making sure they do their applications on time. That's something you can definitely help with. And like Mark said, if you've got questions, come onto the website to chat with us and to ask for any guidance.
Yeah, so keep exploring the What Next Sussex content, the directory, and all the rest of the website, and direct them to our Insta page and TikTok, especially for young people.
Yeah, and you can also have a look at careerssussex.co.uk for anybody who's living in that region. And finally, we would just want to say thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you feel now in a good or a better position to support your child in whatever they do next. And we really hope that you have fun being on that journey with them. So take care.
Yeah, take care. Bye for now.